Hello everyone, welcome to the monthly market update presented by Centricity. I'm Keshav and I'm joined by Aditya from Equity Desk and Shaurya sir, our technical expert. Let's be very honest, there is not just one reason for the market fall. As we see, when the markets go up, several factors come in, several updates come in, several results come in, and then the market goes up. The entire sentiment has to be positive. Now, in the current scenario, a lot of negative factors have come in, and there is not just one single reason for the fall. The GDP growth is slowing down, the inflation is continuing, and we are seeing that the company's earnings growth is also going down. We will discuss more, but let's start with the technicalities. And Shaurya sir,
Hello everyone and thanks Keshav. So it is rightly pointed out by Keshav that definitely it takes a lot of reasons to trade the market, and unfortunately this time all the bad reasons have come together. So definitely if we'll just to put the correction in perspective, we'll see Nifty 50, like be it the frontline indices we talk about, Bank Nifty and Nifty, both have given almost 8 to 10% of correction in this past 2 weeks times. The last time when we have discussed about it, we were very clear about this fact that the Nifty has been trading in a long-term upward trending channel. And last time when we discussed was at the lower band of it. From there it broke down and again it retested the 24,850 levels. And from there we have seen a sharp reversal. And now we are hovering around 23,000 levels, which is below the 24th November levels. And now the next logical support comes around 22,800. So let's see how it turns out. And if we talk about Bank Nifty, again the Bank Nifty was like, if you talk 6 weeks back, Bank Nifty was hovering around its all-time high. And from there, it gave a sharp reversal just after the banks have posted their updates. And from there, in last 4 to 6 weeks, we have fallen almost 6,000 points on Bank Nifty. And now Bank Nifty is way below its 24th November low levels, and it's hovering around almost to the June levels of 24.
Like you can see that major correction has happened in the banking and finance sector.
Absolutely. Earlier, last time when we talked, Bank Nifty was the key leader in the upward trend, and from there it came back, and now it has given almost 6,000-7,000 points of correction.
Right.
Definitely, the banking sector is like weak that we discussed in the last point, but then now we are looking at the price correction as well.
I would also like to, on price correction, I would like to highlight that in the past 30 days, the Nifty itself is down about 6.5%. Along with that, the main pain area that no one is talking about is the Nifty Next 50. That is the next 50 companies that are the biggest in India. After the top 50, they have cumulatively fallen about 13.5% in the past 30 days alone. Along with that, the correction has been on the broader side as well in this correction, because earlier when the correction used to happen, only the Nifty used to correct, but this time the correction is broad based and the companies with higher valuations are correcting, because of which the index in the mid and small cap area have fallen by 12 to 15%. On that, sir.
So actually what we have pointed out is that basically actually every expert and every large investor, big investor and brokerage firms are saying that they are facing very discomfort in the valuations of small cap.
Right.
But if you see that the correction what we have seen Nifty Next 50, what Keshav has pointed out that they have corrected more than 26% from the all-time highs, and nobody is talking about all the small cap index is only 12 to 15% now. But then definitely this time, because if you'll see all the retailers portfolios is mostly made up of small caps and mid caps, so definitely this correction has definitely given a dent on their portfolios, because small cap and mid cap index has fallen more than 12 to 15%, and now they have already breached their previous lows. And now we have to see that the earnings season is around the corner, and we have already started few of this.
I think, sir, microfinance sector is down about 55%.
Yeah, this is something that microfinance has not done well from since long. Talking about the microfinance sector, I would like Aditya to give some insights on that sector with the performance.
So in the last video also, as the viewers might have seen, that we pointed out the microfinance sector is really under stress. There are a lot of NPAs that if they actually turn into NPAs, then it could be a big problem for the sector, which I think we are seeing. And I think the correction, along with all geopolitical factors, along with domestic turbulence as well, is coinciding right with the earnings seasons, as because many companies have started reporting their Q3 business updates, and even some companies have reported their full-fledged earnings numbers as well.
So also on that, Adi, tell us about what is happening in the tech space, because that is something that is in relation with US as well as the global scenario, because we are majorly an exporter of tech. So any updates on the tech side or the banking side?
Definitely, since we stand as the net exporter for IT services, TCS, HCL Tech, both large cap IT companies have reported the numbers where
Very recently, yes.
TCS has only seen growth of 5% and net profit growth of 12%, while the stock was probably up. I think Shaurya sir would be able to explain better, but also they have reported significant deal wins, 10.2 billion of deals, which is not concentrated by large clients. It is cumulative deals made up of many smaller clients as well.
So definitely, like Eddie, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, what we are seeing right now is that it doesn't matter what kind of results we are posting, because the positioning of the stock is more important. So if you'll see in this matter of TCS, it has only come up with very subdued numbers. Their guidance was also like very nominal. Still, the stock was 5% up on the day of result posting, and similarly HCL Tech was like hovering on its all-time high levels, and the moment they posted results, the very next it was 10% down. So what we are looking at is like market is behaving and reacting as per the positioning of the stocks.
Definitely. And to move on to some other sectors which have reported the numbers, we have banks, we have jewelry sectors, we have real estate. So in the banking, we have HDFC Bank, which is reported just around 3% growth in their advances, and deposit growth was also very tepid. Although they have seen the loan to deposit ratio getting better in their favor. So that will indirectly help in their credit cost.
I think IDFC First is the only bank which has posted some good updates.
Yes, their advances was north of 20% and deposits were also north of 18 to 19%. So those numbers were strong. Then we have Bajaj Finance, who used to grow the book at 34-35% CAGR. Now they have reported the numbers at 28% AUM growth.
But I think with this such a big base, even 20% is okay.
Value strong to always make sense, and valuations are every time.
But I think Bajaj Finance has not given any return from past 5 years, I believe.
Also with that, they have one silver lining in the numbers, that they have hinted that credit costs seem to have peaked at 7.2%. 7.2% itself is a very high number at such a big base for Bajaj Finance. So these were some of the numbers. In the jewelry space, we had Kalyan Jewellers and Titan. So Titan grew by 26%. Kalyan Jewellers grew by 41%.
But what is wrong being posted by Kalyan Jewellers? I don't know, because in the last 1 week it has contained more than 30%.
30%.
So there have been some rumors about them, but they have clarified. So on the silver lining part that Adi said, but I want to add up more on that from the government side that can come up, and that is the only possibility that we have, because anyways we do not have any much clarity about the Q3 earnings, because Aditya will explain later, but I would like to highlight a very significant point that is coming up, and that is on 1st of February, that is the government budget. Now we keep on talking about the MPC policy over the entire year, but this is something, the fiscal policy is something that has more power in itself, because the government has a lot of balance in terms of fiscal balance in the books, because they have not spent as much in this current financial year because of the ongoing elections and the turbulence that was happening in the entire economy. What is actually happening and what is actually expected is that the FI's flow have been going away, and that is only because the capital gains tax has significantly risen in specifically for short-term capital gain. And as we know that high frequency trading happens also from the FI's side, and they have been majorly impacted due to the rise in STT and short-term capital gain tax. Now if that goes up, or if it is there, even in there, though what is happening is that India is becoming less attractive for foreign investors, because the rupee depreciation, definitely rupees depreciation, but
of US.
Yeah, the point is the bond yields in America are rising because of the Trump effect there, and the valuations are also excessive still excessive in Nifty Next 50 and mid cap space, because the flows were from the mid cap funds were going there. The valuations are excessive. So as flows go away, the rupee depreciates. So when the rupee depreciates, RBI has to come in, and it has
pay a lot of money.
Yeah, it has to sell dollars and buy a lot back of rupee, because of which $70 billion is what RBI has sold. And
this is like very interesting to understand. This is like, you are trying to do something and it becomes counterproductive for you.
Because they take away rupee, RBI rupee हटा रहा है, फिर उसके बाद स्लो डाउन आता है, जो स्लो डाउन आ रहा है उसकी वजह से कंपनीज की अर्निंग ग्रोथ कम हो रही है, एंड दैट इज़ वाई द मार्केट इज़ करेक्टिंग. दैट इज़ द मेजर रीज़न, एंड दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट द गवर्नमेंट हैज़ टू फोकस ऑन दिस बजट. एंड बिकॉज हम सबको पता है कि पिछले इलेक्शन में क्या हुआ, तो आई थिंक जो र्यूमर्स है वो ट्रू है कि ये वेलफेयर बजट हो सकता है, एंड देयर माइट बी एज वेल a lot of PLIs for the manufacturing sector and the other sectors that the government is talking about, like medical devices, like EMS, electronic manufacturing, several things. So this is something that the government might be having in its mind.
Yeah, but the rumors, what I have heard is that this time the theme of the budget is going to be how to increase the consumption, because definitely consumption is slowing down, and this is the same which is reflected in the GDP numbers as well. And what they have pointed out is that rural consumption is picking up, but then urban consumption is completely missing. So I believe that there are chances that government might give some relief to the middle class taxpayers so that they can have some more money discretionary spent, and that will definitely pump up the consumption.
We really need the rupee to be strengthening as well. I think we were at 700 billion of forex reserves.
And you won't believe, I was just reading somewhere, it was quoted that it is good for the Indian export business because rupee is depreciated. I don't know.
On the domestic level, we have to keep in mind that domestic is also important.
Absolutely.
And they need to rationalize GST, income tax, as well as the long-term.
I think there are going to be tax reforms also on the table in this budget.
But sir, with as far as I've seen, that even pre-elections, the budget was there, and the government still decided to not go welfare means.
So, but it is different from previous budget and this budget.
I definitely know, sir. Everyone knows what happened in the elections, and that's okay. Let's move on. And Shaurya sir, what is your view on Trump? Because the geopolitical factor is something which is driving the entire global markets.
I think we have discussed it about this in last previous video as well, that Trump is a no-nonsense guy, and then I have not seen anybody who is taking a charge of a country, and then he is going to have so much of weight bearing and effect and impact on global markets just because on the 20th of January he is going to take the oath and ceremony, and he has already said and that he is all set to take almost 100 administrative decisions on the same day. And if I'm not wrong, that he is very recently in one of his speech, he quoted that if before that he takes his oath ceremony, Hamas has to surrender. Not only surrender, and they have to return all the hostages. And what I have been reading out right now is that they have almost reached to a deal, and very soon they are going to sign it.
And what's happening in Canada and Panama and Greece?
This is again one more thing that Trump has recently said, and he's pushing aggressively about his geographical expansion and the tariff strategies. So what his plan is to take the Greenland, the Panama Canal, and to make Canada as its 51st state. I don't know, right? As of now, it seems so like a very far-fetched idea, but you never know.
But sir, मैं अग्री करता हूँ कि जियोपॉलिटिकल फैक्टर होता ज़रूर है, मैंने खुद भी बोला कि वो ज़रूरी होता है, बट वी ऑल्सो हैव टू कीप इन माइंड कि इन सारी चीज़ों से सेंटिमेंट बहुत गलत बनता है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ टेरिफ हाइक्स जो एक डायरेक्ट रिलेशन है मार्केट्स के लिए, उससे बाकी मार्केट्स में भी इफेक्ट आता है, जिसकी वजह से द बाइंग स्टॉप्स. And on the DIS side, it has been good, but FIs की supply इतनी ज़्यादा है कि it has dragged in down the market.
Oh, FIs are they are selling indiscriminately.
They don't have the buy button these days or the keyword.
They are blindly, even at these low levels, even at the level Nifty is standing at 23,000 levels, they are selling indiscriminately. And there's a simple reason what Keshav has already explained and we have discussed about it.
They're getting much better risk-free returns over.
Absolutely. When your bond yield is around 4.8 and they're predicting it's going to be at 5 very soon, so we are getting a risk-free return of 5%.
Along with currency depreciation.
Absolutely. So that doesn't make any sense. And then if you see the numbers in past 1 year, they have sold, in past calendar year I was talking about, so they have sold more than 3 lakh crore rupees of stocks in the cash market. And in this January month only, they have sold 34,000 crore rupees, which is almost double what they have sold in the month of December. And still we are 15 days left. So if the quantum continues like that, I think even though the institutions have a lot of money and the SIP is continuing, but still, if this quantum of selling continues, definitely we are going to see more pain and correction than less.
So I think the major spotlights will be budget and then the earnings.
And followed by MPC meeting, our MPC meetings, which is on I think 7th of February.
So as you highly highlighted, what on earnings? What are the brokerages expecting and what is happening there?
See, so brokerages are expecting a very tapered Q3 because we had just gotten out of a very poor Q2, which was our I think worst earnings season in the last 4 years since COVID had gone out. So brokerages are expecting mid-cap IT to perform well. They are not expecting large-cap IT to do well, is what we have also seen in the recent numbers of TCIs at CL Tech. Some brokerages are expecting that domestic capex is the need of the hour. It needs to be picked up for defense companies to do well, for infrastructure to do well. And brokerages are also believing that consumption theme on the luxury consumption side, not on the FMCG side, because FMCG side is highly dominated by crude, which is amidst all the geopolitical that we discussed right
Crude is also touching around
80 dollars. So that is not helping the FMCG.
So overall consumption, I think, won't do much well because the GDP growth has been so that in Q4 FY24 it was at 7.8% growth. Then it came down to 6.7% growth. Now it is at 5.4%.
and the estimates are like for 6.4 as
6.4. So we don't know what is happening there, but definitely budget and earnings is something that will drive the market. There will be stock specific actions, and I think mid cap and small cap IT stocks are doing much better. Why is that so? Because
I think because since smaller companies have more room to grow, they are aggressively expanding because even if US and Europe are if they increase their consumption pattern and if they increase their expenditure, and since we are a net exporter of IT, so we are seeing that smaller companies are doing very well, not the larger companies.
I think the same has been said by all the brokerages also. They're bullish on the mid-cap size IT companies rather than like large-cap IT companies, which has also one more point to it, isn't it? Because mid-cap IT companies have most of their business in India also. And looking at the way we are growing up, I think these companies are going to do very well.
But the thing is, sir, I think it is a stock-specific market because there are several things that are emerging out of India.
Absolutely.
Like you have geospatial mapping companies, you have data center companies, you have
SaaS providers,
you have platform companies, excellent platform companies that are disrupting businesses of big retailers. For example, Avenue Supermart.
Absolutely.
And growing at more than 50-60% either.
Yeah. So that is something that is happening. Anything else that you would like to add?
So I just want to say that definitely we are oversold in the markets, and then we have been oversold from quite some time. And then a very small trigger or any positive trigger can give us a short covering for at least 500-700 points, but that will not change the basic structure of the market.
Right.
So for that we have to look up to the Trump ceremony and then followed by union budget, which is going to be a very big trigger for Indian economy. But since I have said that we are oversold, and there's a very good remark made by Jones Bernard that the markets may remain irrational longer than you may remain solvent. So you have to be very specific about the stocks. You have to take care of your risk reward strategy, and then only you should decide upon your investments. So that is from my side.
Anadi, something?
I think that we should only follow strong earnings because that is the only thing, in my opinion, that is going to play out in the longer term for longer term investors. So earnings in such a bad market or in such a weak market, if companies are posting strong earnings, then I think those are the spaces that we are going.
And I think what is important is कि हमें market वाले क्या बोल रहे हैं, कौन सी टिप दे रहा है, ये सब पे विश्वास नहीं करना है, and केवल एक चीज़ देखनी है ध्यान से, and that is valuations and growth. Because PSU space में भी लोगों ने बहुत वो करा कि PSU banks, PSU ये, PSU वो, but
And I think PSU बैंक की तो कमर टूट गई है. So I think more than 27-28% they have corrected.
Now look, if someone would have exposure to that, he is not in a position to sell the stocks, he is not in a position to average those stocks, so that can create problems for investors, and इस चीज़ का ध्यान रखना है because valuations हमेशा sense बनाती हैं. We saw it in defense, we saw it in railways, we saw it in the PSU banks. So अब प्राइवेट सेक्टर में भी यही हो रहा है कि जो कंपनीज अर्निंग्स नहीं दिखा पा रही हैं, दे विल बी हैमर्ड. सो ओवरऑल यही है कि फॉर इन्वेस्टर्स असेट एलोकेशन को प्लीज़ ध्यान रखिए बिकॉज प्रेशियस मेटल्स are also doing very well and they are a hedge against global political scenario because ट्रम्प से क्या होगा, किसी को क्या होगा, ग्लोबल मार्केट्स अफेक्ट होंगे, बॉन्ड यील्ड्स भी अफेक्ट होंगी, लेकिन one thing that will hedge your portfolio is gold and silver and other precious metals that you are fond of.
And just to add on gold, in the past calendar year, gold has given the most returns in any asset class. It has given 26% of returns in previous year as compared to 8% of Nifty and I believe 20% of mid cap and small cap.
Sure, so that is the reason why I'm saying कि asset allocation बहुत important है. In a bull market it seems like सारे वैसे mid and small caps में डाल दो, but please don't do that because market में rotation होता है and it is important to be a part of things तो लार्ज कैप्स में इन अंडर इक्विटीज कंटिन्यू योर SIPs बिकॉज दिस इज द टाइम दैट जो आप SIP में रिटर्न्स देखते हो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 10 years, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ दीज डिप्स व्हेन योर SIP गोज इन. तो प्लीज़ अपनी SIPs को कंटिन्यू रखें, मेंटेन प्रॉपर एसेट एलोकेशन, एंड in equities large caps are looking much attractive. That is because certain very big, very good quality companies, like you have I won't name it, but you everyone knows ki certain private banks, certain ITs, certain pharma stocks, everything has come down a little bit for you to be able to see them at better valuations.
Definitely, that very lucrative valuations they are at right now.
And that is it from our side. Stay tuned for more, stay invested, and be happy. Thank you.
Thank you.